Good morning, and welcome to Start Your Day Smart. You're here with Martin Baillie, your business coach. Yes, today we're talking about a winning mentality. We were talking yesterday about a fixed mindset and a growth mindset, and that got me thinking again, and how that then transpires into winning mentality. So today we're going to talk about winning mentality. What does that look like? What does that mean? If you're joining us this morning, please pop into the chat box. I can't see you, so let me know you're there by saying hello, good morning, whatever. Get your comments going. Let me know what you think. Don't just sit there and listen. Participate. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you're thinking right now, or what you're thinking about what we're talking about. And please, like and share. Like and share as often as you can. Let's get other people, joining us, having a listen to what we're talking about, and how that. How that may help them and help people get their mindset in the right place to achieve their goals, their dreams, or whatever it is that they're setting out to do. So we're here every Monday to Thursday, from 8:45 to 9 a.m. That's without fail. So please do come along and join us, and let's get ready for the day. Morning, Vicky. Morning, good to see you. Let's get ready for the day. So as I said, if you're here, if you're joining us, please let me know, say hi in the chat box or say good morning, and we can get going. So look, today it's all about winning mindset. So yesterday I spent a bit of time talking about a fixed mindset and a growth mindset, and what the differences in those two mindsets were in terms of people's behaviours and in people's thinking. And that led me on to thinking about a podcast that I actually had listened to very recently. It's called the High Performance Podcast. You may have heard it. There's a sports psychologist on there, and I forget his name, but it's a young chap that used to present the Formula One. He was the youngest guy to ever present Formula One, and it's two of those guys together, and they're normally talking to sports people, essentially. However, the key thing is the mentality and the mindset in sport and business is not dissimilar. They're very, very, very much the same. And they spend a lot of time understanding that mindset and understanding people's mindsets and why that mindset is there. So the podcast I was relating back to, and me being a rugby player, please excuse me, football is not my strong point, so excuse me for not remembering this gentleman's name, but they were talking to a very, very successful football player. One thing I do know is it wasn't Ronaldo, but he was Spanish. So they were talking to a very, 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 very successful football player. And this football player was talking about his son. And he was talking about a winning mentality and a victim. Rather than losing, he called it a victim's mentality. And he was talking about his son. His son, he'd been watching his son play football, and his son played away. And, they didn't win the game. They didn't win the game. But, came off, they were in the car and they're driving home. And his son's talking to his dad going, the referee, the decisions he made. On, Jim at the right back. I mean, he let that guy through, scored the goal. And his son's sitting there making up excuses, blaming others, and in some respects, in a position of denial. So the dad turned around to his son. He said, "Well, look, son," he said, "that's all well and good." He said, "But what could you have done differently? Or what could you have done that could have changed the course of that game?" And his son sort of looked at him as if to say, "Well, what do you mean, Dad?" And he said, "Well, I did everything I could. I don't know what more I could do." And his dad turned around to him and said, "Well, look," he said, "there's a difference here." He said, "What you've just spent 5 minutes talking to me about is what you call a victim's mentality. You're not, you're blaming everything else. You're blaming others. You're making excuses, and actually you're in a bit of denial because." To be honest, you could have stepped up. You could have taken some responsibility or some accountability or some ownership and done something to change the course of the game. So the question that you put back to your son was, what could you have done differently? What more could you have done? Or what have you learned from that situation that's going to allow you to do something greater in the future? And he went on to talk about this winning mentality, and the mentality of a winner is very much of they don't blame others around about them. They don't make excuses for their own poor performance or their own performance, And they very rarely find themselves in denial because they're very, very open and very aware of themselves and what they can do. And instead, what they do is they take responsibility for themselves and they ask themselves questions. Just before I carry on, actually, if you're here with us this morning, please drop in, say hi, say good morning, say hello, let me know you're there. Can't see you, so it'd be great to talk to you. If you've got any thoughts, any opinions on what we're talking about, then please drop them in the box. I'm really eager and keen to hear them. And don't forget, let's like and share. Let's like and share. Let's start hitting that like button, and even the love heart button, even brilliant. Let's get this like and share. So going back to, he's explained to his son that all his behaviours were victims' behaviour, and actually winners take responsibility for themselves, responsibility for the course of the game, take responsibility for the team. They don't, they'll take responsibility for everything. They'll also hold themselves to account. So they'll take accountability, make themselves accountable. Actually, I didn't pass that ball particularly well. If I'd passed that ball better, he would have been through, would have scored. They hold themselves accountable. They take themselves to account. They'll measure themselves in a sporting environment. They measure themselves against themselves. That pass didn't go through, or that chip, that corner was poor. They would, and then they'll take ownership of it. Actually, it's my, this is my problem, or this is my doing, or that was my mistake. What can I do next time to make that mistake go away? What can I do next time to make my performance even better? What have I learned from the situation to make that performance even better? Now, you can translate that back to business, because in business, how many, and hands up, I've been there, I've done this. How many times something hasn't come off and you sit there and go, that's because Fred didn't make the phone call when he was meant to make the phone call. That's because the letters didn't go out in time. So actually what you're doing in that situation, and hands up, I've done this, I've been that person, you're sitting there and you are blaming others. Yeah. Now, there's an interesting thing about blame, and try this for a bit of fun, indulge me. I'm going to point at the screen. Try pointing at the screen and just ask yourself this question. How many fingers are pointing at the screen, and how many fingers are pointing back at you? Because every time you blame, there's 3 fingers pointing at you and only 1 pointing at the screen. So therefore, when you blame, have a good look at yourself first before you start blaming others. But, so, just think about it. Just think about, have you ever been that person? Yeah. And then you've got excuses. Oh, well, look, I'm sorry. We didn't do that. We didn't do a live show this morning. We didn't do a live Facebook because I slept in. Or the dog ran off. Or, just think about excuses. I've made excuses. I'm sure you've made excuses. We've all made excuses. And then there's been the denial. Everything will be all right. Let's not worry about it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Complete denial. Head in the sand, bum stuck in the air. And again, we've all been there. However, the key thing in business is recognizing when you're in there and then moving yourself out of there to above what I call above the line. Yeah, so the line. You've got below the line, above the line. Below the line, you've got blame, excuses, denial. Above the line, you've got responsibility, accountability and ownership. So when you're in business, and we can get down there because sometimes business can be really lonely and in that place, and you find yourself down below the line, but recognize you're there and bring yourself back up out of that victim mentality into the winning mentality and get yourself above that line. Think, what can I do? Responsibility, break that word down. Your ability to respond. This is a situation, how am I going to respond to it? Am I going to stick my head in the sand and we're going to blame others? Or actually, do you know what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that action, this action, that action. That then moves to accountability. Right, I'm going to take those actions. Right, how am I going to measure them and hold myself accountable for those actions being delivered? Whether you're delivering them or whether you've delegated them does not matter. Then you've got ownership. Own your ship. That includes the team, includes everything that goes on in your business. Own your ship. Decide what direction that ship's going in and be clear about it, what speed it's traveling at, who's on the ship with you, and how they're going to contribute to your ship reaching its destination. So That's the winning mentality versus the victim's mentality, and how in sport it matters, but it matters also in business. And it's all about us and our mindset and our ability to understand whether we're above or whether we're below the line. And when we're below the line, having the ability to change that and move ourselves above the line. Because the more time you spend above the line will determine how much you win. So that's the winning mentality and how that sort of led on from the fixed and the growth mindset. So just think about that. Just take those thoughts away and just think about how you can make that part of your daily mantra or your thought process on a daily basis to keep yourself above the line. So look, I look forward to speaking to you all tomorrow. Have a great day. Go and smash it out of the park. And remember, stay above the line. See you later.